You're listening to the Paul Young Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Today we are going to have notes from the mailbag. I get a lot of emails, and I get a lot of wonderful emails. And so every once in a while, I will dive into the email bag and the actual mailbag. Most of the time, actual paper mail will come from two sorts of folks. One is from prisoners all around the country, those who are incarcerated. The other is from elderly people because they still write letters. And that's kind of a wonderful thing. They even send postcards and stuff like that. So, all right. So here's one recently. Hi, Paul. I live in Tasmania, Australia. Now, the only thing that I knew about Tasmania most of my life was what I saw on Bugs Bunny. You know, you had the little Tasmanian devil running around. So to get a email from Tasmania is almost as cool as getting email from, what was it? It wasn't Tibet. It was, I can't think of the country's name. It's just to the right side of Russia, and it's way out there. But it'll come back to mind. That's part of my seizure disorder, that I lose track of nouns sometimes, people, places. I don't forget the people, I just forget their names. So, hi, Paul. I live in Tasmania, Australia. I'm one of those who many years ago repeated the phrase, "Don't read the shack," even though I had never read it. That's kind of self-talk. That's my people, by the way. My people, whom I love dearly, are modern evangelical fundamentalists. And they're often the ones who don't like my book or books, but they've never read them, which makes it interesting. But like he did, I repeated the phrase, "Don't read the shack," even though I had never read it. It was a short season, and then I didn't think about the shack again till 2 years ago. I just want to own this error of mine, and while I have apologized to the Trinity for my stupid words, I want to also apologize to you, my friend, for bad-mouthing your participation without checking it out for myself or asking the three about it. I love what they have and do share through you, and you are a favorite human teacher. Please forgive me for my error towards your work. My wife and I have pretty cool testimonies, and if you could ever find the time and interest, we would love to share our stories with you on a Zoom or something. Anyway, we love you, mate, and thank our trio of origin for you and your family and everything you have learned together and shared with us. Hands waving warmly and emphatically from Simon and Rhonda in Gretna, Tasmania, Australia. Ongoing peace be with you. So that's pretty cool. I don't read these things so that I can get some praise out of it. I don't, because that part of all of this is not my identity. In fact, it took me a long time to be able to say you're welcome when somebody acknowledged, because when I was growing up, compliments were, I didn't like them. And I finally figured out why. It was because it raised the bar. In other words, it increased the height of the expectations. If somebody gave me a compliment, it was like, now I have to live up to it. So I would deflect them all the time. So when somebody says something kind, like in this note, I just say, you're welcome. And I turn my gratitude toward the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit and go like, see, another evidence of redemption. Every compliment, every conversation is looking at my life and seeing redemption. Those of you who know my story, my larger story, and which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point on this podcast, you know that it doesn't seem fair in terms of how people generally look at things, that someone who have made the catastrophic choices that I have would end up in a place surrounded by the kindness of not only God, but the kindness of others. And, I get shot at plenty of times. But part of the redemption is that it doesn't matter to me. It's not that I don't get sad about it, because my people some of my people are still stuck in the same places that I was. And that's grievous to me. And as a result, they're waiting to die to experience, quote unquote, the abundant life lived now. And I grew up the same way. I couldn't actually kill myself, but I could hope that some guy under the influence would cross the middle lane and take me out, because death had become my salvation, because this life really sucked. And I'm so grateful to report that you don't have to continue to live that way. So that's one of the notes here. Here's another one. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to the first episode, the podcast. I appreciate your commitment to the simple approach. That's because I like the simple approach because it's the easiest one, right? As well as the raw and real stories that move our emotions and have the ability to change our perceptions and impact our lives. As a mother of a special needs adult son, I'm keenly aware that many things which are typically seen as simple are actually unquantifiable blessings, cloaked in abundant love, which brings with it a great understanding of compassion, patience, and commitment to the betterment of others, and offers an unparalleled education that could not be learned in any other way. Now, let me just say about that. That is profound. That is beautiful. And thank you, Martha. That is so true about so many situations that we find ourselves in. When I was growing up, there was quite a hierarchy of what it meant to be valuable in the kingdom of God. And whether it was missionaries at the top or pastors at the top or evangelists at the top, there was some kind of hierarchy that said if you desire to be holy, you are more holy when you do things on Sundays to lead people or to win people to Jesus, or, on and on and on it goes. As if a mom who spends most of her time taking care of a special needs adult son has missed out on doing something great for God. It's kind of the other way around, because the mom who cares for the special needs child every day is extending the love and the kindness and the care of God in ways that those of us who've become self-important in the hierarchy do not. It's not that people who are in positions of authority within the community of religion are unable to extend care and life and love, because they do. Many do. But this is not about that. This is about recognition to the trucker, to the garbage collector, to the baker, to the mom who is doing dishes, who is recovering, working through postpartum, the teacher, the nurse who is saving us from doctors. That's just a joke because I have so many nurses in my family that's the opinion that I had before too long. But, everybody here, the florist, the druggist, on and on and on it goes. Like my friend Baxter Kruger says, if you want to express what the work of God is like at your church, you interview every person in your congregation and write out what they do on a daily basis, what they do during the week. And then maybe at a gathering, you take that big scroll and you roll it out and let it roll down the street, because now you're going to see what the work of the church truly is. And the community of faith is to be supported by the church organizationally, to live their lives in fullness and joy, in the normalcy of what it means to live the daily experience. That's the life of the church. This is the life of the church, a mom with a special needs son. And like she said, I am keenly aware that many things which are typically seen as simple are actually unquantifiable blessings cloaked in abundant love, which brings with it a greater understanding of compassion, patience, commitment to the betterment of others, and offers an unparalleled education that could not be learned in any other way. That is stunning and beautiful. All right, the last one for today, Mr. Young. And I always say, Mr. Young's my dad. But Mr. Young, let me start out this email. And by the way, this came in 2014. I have this huge backlog of emails that Amy is helping me find my way through. And so I wanted to respond to this one, but when I did to Allie, it bounced. And so I'm going to read it and read my response to it, and then see if maybe Allie, if she hears about this, can find her way to the Paul Young Podcast website. And there's a response box, and then she can tell us what her real email is, and she can tell us what her last name is so that I can make sure that it's her, etc. We'll figure this out. So, Mr. Young, let me start out this email just saying how thankful I am for your novel, The Shack. I can assure you that it changed my life beyond my wildest dreams. Having said that, I can assure you that my grandma loved this book more than life itself. She has bought every copy, devotional, and item related to The Shack that she can find. In fact, she keeps a copy, bent and old, marked page after page with sticky notes at her bedside table, and every night when she gets home from managing the cafeteria at the local Catholic high school, taking care of my orphan grandpa, a job in itself, and checking up on her 10 children and 26 grandchildren, she reads a chapter. And when she finishes the whole book, she simply begins again the next night. She will even call it the Bible from time to time because she values it so much. My grandma's birthday is just around her corner, and I recently began thinking what would be the best gift I could give her to commemorate these past 70 plus years. As much as I tried to find the Shack-related gift that she didn't already own, I simply could not find a single thing. Then it hit me. I'd love for her to have an autographed copy of the book to add to her collection. I know you probably receive hundreds of emails every day making the same request, but if you would prayerfully consider my request, I would be ever more greatly indebted to you. I can only imagine the size of the smile on her face when she holds a copy of the novel, which means so much to her, signed by a man whom she greatly admires. She deserves to smile like that, Mr. Young. She really does. 70 years of battling cancer, putting 10 children and 5 grandchildren through college, helping the needy, and surviving 50 years of marriage to possibly the most difficult man in the world, have managed to dim her glowing smile, and the best gift I could give her is a chance to replace that smile. If you find it in your heart to help me out with this birthday surprise, please don't hesitate to reply. I would be glad to tell you more about this amazing woman, my grandma. And of course, the vital information as to where to send the book and who to write the message to, because she does have a name other than just Grandma. Thank you so much. God bless. So you can understand why I wish that I had gotten this, but I didn't. And so here we are. And so I wrote to the email that was on there, and it bounced, meaning that's kind of an old email. And so I think that it bounced, and because it's no longer the one that works, and that Allie has changed her email address. So I wrote back not knowing that and said, I finally found your email in the backwaters of my Gmail wasteland. My apologies. All life is all timing, but not ours. Your note touched me deeply. Is your grandma still living? If she is, would it be okay if I called her? If she is not, perhaps I could give you a call and you can tell me about her. She sounds absolutely remarkable. Let me know what you think. Big hugs. Paul. Oh yeah, author of The Shack. Because I thought it's just out of nowhere, after 2014's been a while. So it bounced. And so if anybody knows Allie or anybody is connected to this, if you could go to paulyoungpodcast.com, there's a comment section on the landing page, and I would love to get in touch with you. And if your grandma's still alive, I would love to connect with her. All right. And if I do, I'll let you know. Have a great day. May you be surrounded by the relentless embrace of affection. Hugs. Thank you for listening. If you would like to connect with us with inquiries, comments, suggestions, stories, and more, please go to paulyoungpodcast.com. There you're going to find resources and any notes related to any particular podcast. Today, participate with love, do the next right thing, and trust the ripples.